Good day, my name is Christian Sasse and I'm based out of Kelowna in British Columbia. I've taken marvelous images with this telescope both in the northern and southern hemisphere. Really magnificent results. And yet, the longer you seem to stack, the longer you seem to expose, there are certain noise patterns called walking noise that seem to manifest themselves, especially in certain setups. Well, in this setup, I've got the StarSense Autoguider and I've got it also on an equatorial mount. Seems ideal because I can follow and track the sky precisely, keep very clean and sharp stars, and at the same time I can compensate for the Earth's rotation by putting it on an equatorial wedge. So where are these noise patterns coming from? Before I get into that, I'll tell you the solution is very simple. Celestron has now upgraded their software, and in the latest software you can find that there is a dithering switch. So in your menu, go to Settings, then Advanced, and just enable the toggle switch for dithering. Make sure you have the latest update. If you look up the word dithering in the dictionary, you'll find it means trembling or shaking. So are we going to shake or tremble our telescope? Well, in a certain way we are actually. We're going to nudge it. So why should we add noise when we're trying to get rid of noise? Well, it's a very well-known principle in science. When engineers put digital music onto a CD from audio, so it sounded very hollow and artificial on the CDs. So what they did is they added dither or some noise patterns, and then the warmth suddenly came back. Well, we're going to get the warmth of images back by adding some dithering or shaking to our telescope. And I'll show you why. What you are seeing here is a simplified animation of the camera sensor in the Celestron Origin. Each little square represents a pixel of the sensor, and the height of each pixel shows the dark signal and thermal noise being generated inside the sensor. The important thing is that noise is not fixed. It fluctuates from moment to moment. It is very dynamic. When the sensor is cool, the noise floor is relatively low. But as I increase the temperature, the noise floor rises and the random noise variations become much stronger. So this is why dark subtraction is so important. We use our calibrated darks. Let's apply it. So the noise floor immediately drops. A dark frame indeed measures the average dark signal of the sensor, so when we apply it, the overall floor drops dramatically, but it never goes to zero. Your Origin telescope compensates for temperature variations as best it can, but it can never remove random noise completely. Let's start with the equatorial wedge setup without guiding. At the beginning there are no darks or flats applied, so we see both the sensor noise and the optical imperfections. If I apply the dark frame, the thermal offset and some of the fixed pattern structure are reduced, but the statistical noise is still there. If I apply the flat frame, the vignetting and dust donuts are corrected. As the stack builds up, the sky signal becomes clearer, but the fixed sensor pattern is not completely random. Because it shifts coherently from frame to frame, it forms this streaky walking noise pattern in the background. Now let's compare that with the wedge plus SSAG case. In this simplified demonstration, the guiding is very precise, so the system keeps returning the star field to nearly the same position. That can make the remaining sensor fixed pattern appear more coherent in the stack, because it is no longer being naturally smeared around by random wander. The key point is that walking noise is not just more noise, it is noise with a direction and a memory from frame to frame. Now we add dithering. Dithering deliberately nudges the telescope between exposures. The important idea is that there are two frames of reference, the sky frame, which we align on the stars during stacking, and the sensor frame, where the fixed pattern noise lives. When we dither, the stars are registered back into place, but the sensor noise lands in different positions in each frame. So the noise does not disappear, but its coherence is broken. It gets spread out and averaged into a much smoother background. Finally, we can look at Alt-Az mode. Here the dominant effect is field rotation. As the telescope tracks in altitude and azimuth, the sky rotates relative to the sensor. When the stack aligns the stars, the sensor-fixed noise can map into a curved or rotational walking pattern instead of a straight one. And again, when dithering is added, the sensor pattern is shifted around from frame to frame, so the coherent structure is broken up and the background becomes much smoother. Okay, now for the real test, the exciting part. Let's just recap what we just learned about dithering and walking noise. So when I do right ascension adjustment on the polar alignment, if I do some misalignment, then it's not that serious, because all it is like misaligning a clock a little bit. Instead of showing 9 o'clock, which would be the time, it's showing 10 to 9. And that can just be easily corrected with an offset. That's an offset, so our walking noise is just moving a bit. Much more serious is the declination. So if I make serious errors here, let's say like a 2-degree offset, that'll be noticed, because as we're tracking the sky, whatever object, the star, is now moving out of the picture. So we now have to adjust with our declination at the same time. So let's do this now and get the real test going. I'm going to point the telescope for 4 consecutive nights at a sector of the sky that I would call uninteresting. What I mean with uninteresting is where I can easily remove the stars in the background and we'll just have the background, which is what we're looking for in this case, the noise pattern. The way we're going to do this is we're going to point it quite away from the moon and point it into the northeast at a star section, and going to let it run for 4 hours. I'm going to purposely make a 2-degree offset, okay, with a declination. We're going to move it a bit so that we actually get the real imprint of the walking noise. So first, the camera only set up on the equatorial mount. This came somewhat as a surprise. I was expecting walking noise, small frame-to-frame pointing changes, however, mechanical settling, and tiny tracking corrections move the star field by slightly different amounts on the sensor. So you could say the system is producing a weak natural dither as it is. Now we switch on the Origin's default dithering, 15 pixel move every 3 frames. In this particular data set, the improvement is not dramatic, because the camera-only baseline was already surprisingly well decorrelated by natural pointing wonder. Time penalty added about 5 seconds per frame. That's about 15% dither overhead. And now let's add the StarSense Autoguider. And this is the wow moment. With StarSense Autoguider on, the pattern becomes obvious. It is because the guider is just astonishingly fast and good. It won't let the telescope escape, as it plate solves extremely fast, and the noise pattern is frozen in as walking noise. And now we combine SSAG precision and dithering. The walking noise vanishes, and the overhead increases by only 2 seconds. That's just a mere 5.7%. If you do have an SSAG, whether it's an equatorial mount or an alt-az mount, I would recommend to enable dithering. For a setup without the SSAG, it's really up to you. Look at the images and see if you see noise patterns. If you do, then enable it. And finally, on that note, coming back to the definition of what dithering is all about, happy trembling.